Hi everybody, welcome back to the Bolt Hole Biker. Well, I have to say it sounds very nice. I'm on a bit of a jolly today. My Multistrada 950S is in for a service, and Ducati have kindly lent me a Street Fighter V2. I mean, pretty much they said basically what bike did I want to take out. I was thinking about Multistrada V4S just to see if I'd, check that I'd made the right decision buying mine. Oh, I just missed the turning. Bollocks. And I thought about Scrambler, because I did take a Scrambler out before. It's a nice bike. And I thought, nah, give a V2S a go. So, back to where I was. Oh, road closed. You are having a flipping laugh, aren't you? Oh well, opportunity for a foot up U-turn. There we go. Turning circle on this V2 is flipping tight. You could do that on you could turn on a sixpence. I have to say, having been on the Multistrada so much recently, and the sort of height and weight of that bike being quite significant, this V2S feels so tiny, but it's so sort of easy to manoeuvre around and navigate on. Is that right? You know what I mean. Because I've ridden the Street Fighter V4 before, so I've got a friend who's got one of those, and I thought I'd see what the V2 was like, given that it's the sort of new incarnation. And I have to say, I've only been on it for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes. It's a lovely little bike, but it's definitely not lacking in power. I'm doing the Kalimoto route at the moment. I just set in just a circular route that's going to take about an hour and a half, 2 hours I think, whilst the service is being done. So I've got no idea where I'm going. I'm just following Kalimoto. Never lets me down. And seeing what this little V2 is like. It's got an absolutely lovely exhaust note to it. It sounds gorgeous. As does the V4, it has to be said. The V4 flipping heck. That is a meaty sounding bike. This is basically half of the V4 obviously. But the question is this more sort of usable for the roads than the V4, which has got so much power? I think it's about 208 brake horsepower, that you're just never going to be able to use it on the roads, not without sort of putting yourself in massive danger and risking losing your license. I've got the bike in sport mode, because why wouldn't you? And the fueling is quite lean down at the lower end of the rev range. In fact, it's probably quite lean right the way through, but it is, so it's slightly snatchy. The throttle's very, very sensitive. That's not a bad thing on this type of bike though. Let's have a look. Oh yeah. Flippin' heck. Why would you need any more power than that on the road? I mean, that's in fourth gear, and it's incredibly light and flickable. Leans in lovely. I like it. Quick shifter works lovely, really smooth, very lively engine. Oh, look how flickable it is. This is tight. I can imagine this would be great on a track. Oh, that was the wrong button. I just pressed the horn. The indicators are a bit higher up than on the switch gear on my bike, so I'm having to make a conscious effort to get to the indicators, and I just missed then and hit the horn. When I rode the Street Fighter V4, it was also on some fairly twisty roads when we did our little tour up in Scotland, and I was opening it up a bit, but it's so powerful. I could only really, I don't even know if I was able to properly open it up any more than second gear, to be honest with you, because by the time you've got it open, you've run out of road. Whereas this This you can use more of the gear range, use more of the gears, because it's not as powerful, but it's certainly not lacking. It's really, it's actually a very, very pokey bike, this. Ooh, let's see what the suspension's like. Yes, stiff enough that I felt that. Suspension actually does feel really nice. It's quite stiff, but there's still a bit of give in it. It's not. I'm not feeling every single little bump in the road. There is a little bit of give in it. I'm not sure if it's been dialed out slightly, but it's quite comfy. And as with the V4, the seat and the riding position is incredibly comfortable. So you're slightly canted forward in a nice sporty position, but not so much that you know, all your weight's on your wrist. You're not going to be uncomfortable after half an hour. Yeah, I'm having to keep my eyes open for the petrol gauge because, well, sorry, for the petrol light, because there's no gauge on the Street Fighter, so you need to watch for your light to come on. Then once it does, that's it, you're down to 2 or 3 litres of fuel. On the V4, I think you get about 30 miles, which is plenty, you know, to find a garage. But I don't know what the tank size is like on the V2. I haven't done any research on the V2, so I can't give you facts and figures because I didn't expect to be riding one today. This is a complete bonus. One that I am very happy to have had. I've got quite a bit of heat coming off the left-hand side of the engine, around the sort of inside of my left thigh, which for me today I'm not complaining about because it's 13 degrees C, so it's not exactly tropical, and it's quite comfortable having that little bit of warmth there. But on a warmer day, you might not want it. It's got a lovely raw sounding engine, raw as in R-A-W, and it does have a lovely roar, but it's got quite a sort of visceral feel to the engine. It's really wants to go. As I say, in sport the throttle is a bit jerky. To give it its due, I should maybe give it a go in road mode and see what the jerkiness is like, because I'm sure it will soften it off. Yeah, it's not massively happy down at very low speed. You need to be fettling the clutch quite a lot. It'd rather be going fast, and I'm not going to lie to you, so would I. I love the look of the bike. It looks almost exactly the same as the V4S, which is a lovely looking bike. Oh, petrol light's on. Right. Luckily, we are in a little bit of a town here. Let's see if there's any garages. Looks like the kind of place there should be a garage. Now I've slowed down. There's a decent bit of engine heat coming from both sides of the engine. There we go. Lovely. Oh, the beast roars into life. A tiny little dash on this, but it's got all the. It's very clear and it's got all the information that you need. It's not difficult to see, but it is, you know, it's physically quite small. But then I suppose it suits the bike. The bike is very compact. I say the bike's compact. It is compact, but it isn't compact in a way that makes you feel like you're sort of scrunched up. It's a spacious bike to ride, very comfortable. My knees are in a nice position, albeit I've got fairly short legs, but I certainly don't feel like I'm on a tiny little bike all sort of, you know, squashed up. Seat must be relatively low because I've got both feet almost flat, and then, as I say, I haven't got the longest legs in the world. Right, let's get out of the town, into some twisties, and get a bit of riding done. This is where I was before, so I'm back on the route now. One thing I will say is these mirrors, I'd like to rotate them up slightly because they're a bit low, but they won't move. I don't know whether they're just so tight that they won't move, and I don't want to force them. But I'll be honest with you, I am forcing them a bit, and they're just not going. I don't know. There must be some up adjustment on them, but I'm not prepared to force it any more than I have because I don't want to break them. so I'm having to duck down to get a proper view behind me. There's a pretty sketchy road surface back there, and as I say, the suspension's stiff, but it was soaking up those bumps pretty well. I wasn't getting bounced all over the place. It's quite plush for a sporty bike. It's with a stiff suspension. It is still very effective. Once you get to about 8,000 RPM, it has a big power surge and just kind of takes off. Well, this might bring me onto a bit of more open road for a little while, in which case I will give it a little bit of a caning, just briefly. Not sure what tyres are on this, but they feel quite nice, very grippy. I think they might be Pirelli's Rosso Corsas. I don't know whether they're 2s or 3s, but I had the 2s on my Thruxton and they were lovely, really good tyres. It prefers being ridden slightly higher RPM. Once you get into the lower RPMs, it does get a little bit bogged down. It just means you need to be sort of more aware of your gear selection, make sure you've got a bit of revs. Oh, it's lovely though, it's really nice. Wowzers. And there is absolutely no need for any more power from this on road. It's great. Unless you want the absolute sort of bragging rights of having the V4, this is the one to get. What a bike, look at that. Wowzers. And then you get up near 7,000-8,000 and it just takes off. This is definitely more usable performance than when I was on the V4. That don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining about that bike. Was amazing, it really was amazing, but you just run out of road too quickly. Having said that, I'm running out of it quite quick on this as well. This is another one of those bikes, a little bit like the Duke 790, that just kind of encourages you to go fast everywhere. Or is it me? I think I might have a slightly naughty right wrist. Seat is quite firm, but it's very comfortable. Again, similar to the Duke 790, the KTM seats, they look uncomfortable and they are just quite firm, you know, but that's what you want really. Yeah, on a longer ride I think you are better off having a slightly firmer seat and a bit of space to move around on, which is exactly what you've got on this. Yeah, throttle response is very quick. I'm guessing it's a ride-by-wire, and I don't know what they've got it set at. I mean, it's not going to be 1-to-1, but it's pretty quick. As soon as you twitch the throttle, you definitely feel it instantly. Oh yeah. Yeah, 8,000 RPM, whoosh! Just absolutely fires up. Brilliant. And that was in 4th gear. I mean, if it does that in 5th and 6th as well, then what an engine. And that's only half of a V4. What would you do with the other half? Boom, there we go, feel that power. Flippin' heck, lovely. I'm definitely out disturbing the peace today. Sorry everybody in the Dales, but I'm having awesome fun. Yeah, lovely soundtrack. And as with the Multistrada, and as far as I can see, all of the modern Ducatis, so well put together, so well built. I mean, the build quality on Ducatis now is just, it's impeccable. Oh, lovely bit of road this. Look at that. Boom! Yes. Let's wind it up here then. Look at that. Boom! Once you get up to 8,000. It does reward you for riding in those higher revs. The ride is really good. brakes are brilliant. Plus you've got a nice bit of engine braking as well. So slowing down from speeds quick. Yeah, it's like a rocket. It's a pocket rocket. I get that the V4 would have a lot more to give, but up to the speeds where you're realistically gonna use, it's fast. Obviously it's gonna hit a ceiling, which the V4 would go way beyond, but in terms of performance, it's not lacking at all. I don't know what the acceleration is, you know, the numbers compared to the V4, but it can't be that different. I don't know how much longer my GoPro battery's got, so I'm going to leave it running. But in the meantime, I'm going to say thank you very much for joining me on this ride. I hope it's been enjoyable. I have to say, it's been bloody awesome for me. Ducati Street Fighter V2. If you get the chance, get a ride on one because they are awesome. Really, what an excellent bike. What a great bike. What a great bike. Be nice if they'd put a petrol gauge on them though. I don't know why they haven't put a petrol gauge on. I mean, it's a bloody TFT sort of, you know, screen. They must be able to stick a petrol gauge on it. Come on. Can't be that hard.